heart of Africa, where the spirits of the land whisper the tales of yore, there emerged a story so powerful it resonated through the sands of time. This is the story of Nzinga Mbande. This tale starts in the late 16th century in the royal family of the Ndongo kingdom. A new member was welcomed to the royal family under a sky filled with promise and a land echoing with the wisdom of ancestors. This was Nzinga Mbande, a child of destiny, born into a lineage of kings with roots that trace deep into the heart of African history. Her father, King Kiluanji, was a powerful ruler celebrated for his strategic abilities and indomitable spirit. Her mother, Kangala, was a woman of immense strength, carrying with her the wisdom and knowledge of ages. The late 16th century was a time of shifting alliances and burgeoning colonial ambitions. The Portuguese, with their insatiable thirst for control and wealth, were making their presence known in the heart of Africa. And it was into this maelstrom of change that Nzinga was born. From an early age, Nzinga was a child unlike any other. Her eyes held a spark that was as enthralling as it was formidable. A keen observer, she soaked up the world around her with an intensity that belied her tender years. Her father's court was her classroom, and the world was her teacher. The strategies of warfare, the nuances of diplomacy, became her playthings. Nzinga was sculpted by the trials and tribulations of her kingdom, shaped by the wisdom of her ancestors, and forged in the furnace of her own determination. She was a princess with the heart of a warrior and the mind of a shrewd diplomat. Her spirit was indomitable, her will unbreakable. From early on, Nzinga displayed an uncanny knack for diplomacy and warfare, skills that would later come to define her reign as the fearless queen of the Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms in what is now Angola, a leader whose strength and diplomacy challenged the tides of colonialism and echoed beyond the confines of her era. As Nzinga grew, so did the Portuguese menace. The kingdom of Ndongo, nestled in the heart of Africa, was a jewel that caught the covetous eyes of the Portuguese explorers. Rich in resources and culture, Ndongo was a treasure trove that the Portuguese were determined to plunder. Their ships, like ominous specters, began to appear off the coast, their cannons a grim promise of the violence to come. The Portuguese were not just explorers seeking new lands. They were conquerors, invaders, seeking to impose their will and their rule on the kingdoms of Africa. They sought to enslave the people, to strip them of their dignity and their freedom. The Portuguese were a storm on the horizon, a threat that grew with each passing day. Ndongo, powerful though it was, found itself under siege. The Portuguese forces were relentless, their hunger for control and wealth insatiable. They enslaved the people, tearing families apart and sending them off to foreign lands. They plundered the kingdom's resources, leaving devastation in their wake. The sovereignty of Ndongo was under threat, its very existence hanging by a thread. And yet, amidst this chaos and uncertainty, a beacon of hope emerged. Nzinga, the young princess, was not one to sit idly by while her kingdom was torn apart. Her courage and determination flared brighter than ever. She was ready to face this new threat head-on, to protect her people and her land. The Portuguese may have been a formidable foe, but they had not reckoned with the indomitable spirit of Nzinga Mbande. Nzinga's journey to the throne was fraught with challenges. However, she traversed this treacherous path with an incredible display of bravery and intelligence. Born into the royal lineage of Ndongo during the late 16th century, she found herself amid a battlefield of conflict and a burgeoning slave trade. Yet even in this tempestuous atmosphere, she displayed an unequaled proficiency for diplomacy and warfare, the traits that came to define her reign. Nzinga's rise to power, however, was far from a predetermined plan. Her brother, King Nzinga Mbanda, in a state of despair over the Portuguese aggression, initially dispatched her for negotiations with the Portuguese in 1622. This request was not a mere routine. Instead, it was a trial of her diplomatic skills and an opportunity to demonstrate her leadership potential. The Portuguese, invading the Ndongo kingdom and seizing its people into slavery, had created a situation of high stakes, with the kingdom's future teetering on the edge. But Nzinga proved to be more than a match for the task. She matched the Portuguese move for move, negotiating not from a stance of frailty, but from one of grit and resolution. Her aim was to ensure the independence of her people and the expulsion of the Portuguese slave traders. Her negotiation talents shone through when she successfully negotiated a peace treaty, effectively stopping the Portuguese encroachments into Ndongo lands. But her victory was ephemeral. After the death of her brother, King Angola Mbande, under dubious circumstances, the spotlight fell on her amidst accusations of fratricide. But displaying her characteristic resilience, she brushed off the allegations, stepped forward with the weight of her kingdom on her shoulders, and took her rightful position as the queen of the Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms. Her ascension was anything but typical. It was a journey shrouded with danger and conspiracy. Yet, it was also a tribute to her unyielding spirit and diplomatic expertise. Her strategic and diplomatic abilities were the keys to securing her the throne and her people's respect. And thus, Queen Nzinga ascended, prepared to steer her kingdoms through the stormy seas of the 17th century. Queen Nzinga, having ascended the throne amidst tumultuous circumstances, immediately faced the daunting task of safeguarding her kingdoms from foreign invasion. Recognizing the complexity of the situation, she understood that sheer force would not be sufficient to repel the Portuguese. Instead, she adopted a dual approach, one that would come to define her reign. As a diplomat, Nzinga was a force to be reckoned with. She commanded the negotiation table with an unyielding resolve, her every word and action calculated to ensure the safety of her people and the sovereignty of her kingdoms. Her diplomatic efforts were not limited to the Portuguese. She also reached out to other European powers, skillfully playing them against each other to maintain a delicate balance of power. Yet, her diplomatic skills were just one side of the coin. When diplomacy fell short, Nzinga was quick to take up the mantle of a warrior. She led her troops into battle, her courage and strategic genius guiding them against the Portuguese onslaught. Her ability to swiftly switch between the roles of a diplomat and warrior was a testament to her versatility and adaptability. This was Queen Nzinga, a diplomat when the situation called for negotiations and a warrior when words failed. Her reign was a masterful display of balancing diplomacy and warfare, a strategy that would ensure the survival and autonomy of her kingdoms amidst the tempestuous seas of the 17th century. Queen Nzinga's reign, despite facing betrayal, loss, and the ever-looming threat of colonial expansion, was a masterclass in the art of balancing warfare and diplomacy. Her reign was marked by her strategic use of both. In a world dominated by European powers, Queen Nzinga stood firm, a beacon of resilience in the face of relentless colonial pressure. Her reign was a complex tapestry of diplomatic maneuvers and military tactics, each thread meticulously woven to safeguard the survival and autonomy of her kingdoms. Queen Nzinga was a master of the diplomatic chessboard, deftly playing European powers against each other. She understood, perhaps better than her contemporaries, that the pen could be as mighty as the sword. Her diplomatic prowess was never more evident than when she aligned with the Dutch, a strategic move that put a formidable buffer between her kingdoms and the encroaching Portuguese. Diplomacy was only one facet of her leadership. Queen Nzinga was also a warrior, a woman who wasn't afraid to take up arms to protect her people. When necessary, she traded the negotiation table for the battlefield, leading her troops with the same finesse and determination that marked her diplomatic endeavors. It's worth noting that Queen Nzinga's military tactics were as innovative as they were effective. She was known to use guerrilla warfare, a strategy that used the terrain and local knowledge to her advantage, confounding her more conventionally minded opponents. Despite facing immense challenges, her reign was a testament to her unwavering resolve and her ability to adapt to the shifting sands of power dynamics. Whether it was through forging alliances, establishing a sovereign state in Matamba, serving as a sanctuary for all seeking refuge from slavery, or a military campaign, Queen Nzinga was always one step ahead, always ready to do what was necessary to protect her kingdoms. Through a combination of diplomatic ingenuity and military prowess, Queen Nzinga ensured the survival and autonomy of her kingdoms. An extraordinary leader, her reign was a masterstroke of strategic diplomacy and warfare, a testament to her determination to resist colonial domination at all costs. This was the reign of Queen Nzinga, a saga of diplomacy and warfare that still resonates today as a symbol of resistance and resilience. The enduring legacy of Queen Nzinga reaches far beyond the borders of the Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms. This remarkable leader, whose reign spanned 4 tumultuous decades in the 17th century, left an indelible mark on the annals of history, shaping the course of her kingdoms and the wider African continent. Her impact is multifaceted, encompassing the cultural, political, and historical spheres. Culturally, Queen Nzinga is a cherished symbol of resistance and resilience. Her cleverness and tenacity in the face of Portuguese colonialism continue to inspire the Angolan people, and indeed all who yearn for freedom and justice. Stories of her diplomatic ingenuity and military prowess are passed down from generation to generation, keeping her spirit alive and relevant. Politically, Queen Nzinga's adept use of diplomacy and strategic alliances set a precedent for African leadership. Her approach to international relations, which involved playing European powers against each other, demonstrated a nuanced understanding of geopolitics that was ahead of her time. Today, her tactics are studied and admired by political strategists and historians alike. Historically, Queen Nzinga's reign represents a significant chapter in the narrative of pre-colonial Africa. Her successful resistance against Portuguese encroachment challenges the often one-sided portrayal of African-European interactions during the Age of Exploration. Through her story, we gain a richer, more nuanced understanding of this pivotal period in world history. Today, Queen Nzinga's legacy is celebrated both in Angola and across the globe. In Luanda, the capital of modern Angola, a statue of Queen Nzinga stands tall, a testament to her enduring influence. Every year, cultural festivals and events commemorate her life and achievements, drawing participants from near and far. Her story is taught in schools, not just in Angola, but in classrooms around the world, inspiring future generations to stand up for their beliefs and to lead with wisdom and courage. Queen Nzinga's legacy, a testament to the power of intelligence and diplomacy, continues to inspire generations. Her story, woven into the rich tapestry of African history, is a powerful reminder that one woman's strength and determination can change the course of history. The story of Queen Nzinga is an extraordinary chapter in the rich tapestry of African history. As we journey through the annals of time, we find ourselves immersed in the saga of a woman whose spirit was as indomitable as her wisdom was profound. Born into the royal family of Ndongo in the twilight years of the 16th century, Nzinga Mbande was catapulted into a world fraught with conflict and the burgeoning slave trade. From these challenging beginnings, she rose to become a beacon of strength and diplomacy, navigating the treacherous waters of colonialism with a tact and resilience that still astounds historians today. Her reign, marked by both diplomatic genius and strategic warfare, was a testament to her uncanny ability to balance the scales of power in her favor. By playing European powers against each other, she not only ensured the survival of her kingdoms, but also set a precedent for strategic diplomacy that continues to inspire leaders today. Her unyielding spirit was not confined to the battlefield or the negotiation table. It seeped into the very fabric of her kingdoms, inspiring her people and fostering a culture of resilience and resistance that has transcended the centuries. Today, Queen Nzinga stands as a symbol of resistance, a beacon of hope in the fight against oppression. Her savvy leadership and unwavering spirit have inspired countless generations, both in Angola and across the globe. As we reflect on the remarkable life of Queen Nzinga, we are reminded of the enduring power of courage and wisdom in shaping the world. Her story, steeped in bravery, intelligence, and a relentless pursuit of justice, continues to reverberate through the ages, offering lessons in leadership, diplomacy, and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. Her legacy of strength and diplomacy continues to echo through the ages, inspiring all who learn of her extraordinary life. As we close this chapter in the annals of African history, we are left with an enduring image of a woman who, against all odds, managed to rewrite the narrative of her time, leaving an indelible mark on the sands of time. Goodbye.